200,000 years ago, something vanished from this earth, and no one has any idea why. Not an animal, not a civilization, not a species science had ever named. Something that walked upright, used tools, buried its dead, and looked almost, but not exactly, like you. And then one day, it was simply gone. No graves left behind, no tools left behind, no warning carved in stone, no legend passed down, no memory of any kind. Just silence. 200,000 years of complete silence. Until December 2025, when scientists uncovered something buried deep in China, something that would change everything we thought we knew about who walked this earth before us. They found a skull, larger than any human ever recorded, teeth so enormous science still could not explain what they were eating. Features so different that researchers had to create an entirely new category just to describe them. They called them Homo juluensis. And the moment that name was given, a question appeared, one that no one has been able to answer. Where did they go? And what, or who, made them disappear? Before we talk about where they went, we need to understand what we lost, because this was not a primitive creature, not something crawling through darkness. This was a person, a thinking person, a feeling person, a person who buried their dead, which means they understood loss, which means they grieved, which means they loved, which means they were human. And they were not smaller than us, not weaker than us, not less developed than us. They were different, profoundly, disturbingly, completely. Their skulls were larger than any human ever recorded, larger than yours, larger than mine, larger than every Neanderthal ever found, which means one terrifying thing. Their brains were bigger than ours. Think about what that means. A human species with more cranial capacity, more potential cognitive power, gone. Their teeth tell an equally unsettling story. Enormous, thick, powerful beyond explanation, built for something we have not identified, because whatever they were eating, whatever world they were building, disappeared with them completely. Because they left almost nothing behind. No art, no weapons, no buildings, no burial sites. Just two things: their bones and the silence where their world used to be. When scientists examined their remains, they found something that stopped them completely. These were not primitive features, evolving towards something more advanced. These were different features, a completely separate direction, a completely separate answer to the question of what a human being could become. And whatever answer they found, whatever world they built, whatever they knew, died with them. 200,000 years ago, without explanation, without warning, without a single person left to remember they ever existed. Until now. Here is what makes this story different from every other extinction story ever told. We know why the dinosaurs died. A meteor, darkness, cold. We have the evidence. We have the crater. We have the timeline. We know why the mammoths disappeared. Climate change, human hunting. The story makes sense. For Homo juluensis, we have nothing. Not one theory that fully explains it. Not one piece of evidence pointing clearly in any direction. Just disappearance. Clean, complete, unexplained. 200,000 years ago, the Earth was crowded, not with animals, with us. Different versions of us. Different answers to what a human could look like, could think like, could become. All of them sharing the same land, hunting the same food, competing for the same water, surviving the same brutal world. It was not peaceful, it was not balanced, it was not safe. It was a fight, every single day, for everything. And somewhere inside that fight, Homo juluensis, with their enormous skulls and their separate evolutionary answer, stopped winning. Scientists have identified 3 possible explanations. None of them are comfortable. Possibility 1. Did we do this? Did our ancestors, the people whose blood runs through every person alive today, encounter something different, something going somewhere else, something with bigger brains, and erase it? Did we destroy something more advanced than ourselves before we even understood what we were destroying? That question has no comfortable answer, because if the answer is yes, it would not be the last time. Possibility 2. The world changed, and they could not change with it. Not fast enough, not completely enough. Already different, already isolated, already separate from every population that might have helped them. And nature does not wait. It does not negotiate. It does not warn. It simply moves forward and leaves behind everything that cannot keep up. Possibility 3, and this one is the most disturbing of all. They did not disappear. They became us, slowly, quietly, generation by generation, their identity diluting, their difference fading, their separate evolutionary answer dissolving into the populations around them, until nothing distinctly theirs remained visible. They didn't vanish, they became us, which means somewhere in the DNA of people alive today, the last trace of something that was becoming something else, something we will never fully understand, is still present, unrecognized, unnamed, waiting to be found. 3 possibilities, 3 different endings for the same story. And science cannot yet tell us which one is true. Which means the question of what ended them remains open. And an unexplained disappearance is not just a mystery, it is a warning. Because we still do not know whether it was the world that ended them or us. A species this advanced should not be invisible, and yet that is exactly what they are. No cities to walk through, no art to understand them, no words to tell us who they were, no monuments to prove they mattered. Just bones, and not many of those. But here is what is extraordinary. The little they left is rewriting everything. One skull forced scientists to redraw the entire human story. Not adjust it, not correct a small detail, redraw it. Which means everything we thought we understood about human evolution was built on an incomplete picture. And if one skull can change that much, what would a complete record have told us? What did they know that we have lost? What were they becoming that we will never see? We may never know, because the most devastating thing they left behind is not bones. They didn't leave behind answers, they left behind questions. Questions with no answers. Questions that exist only because something extraordinary was ended before it could speak for itself. But there is one more thing they may have left behind. Something nobody expected. Something science did not see coming. Something you might be carrying right now. In December 2025, something changed. A paper was published in Nature. A name was given for the first time. Homo juluensis. But that was not the real discovery. The real discovery was this. Human history in Asia was missing an entire chapter, and nobody knew. They were not alone. Others were here. The Denisovans, Homo floresiensis, Homo longi, even a lineage we cannot fully see, but whose blood still moves through living people today. And now, Homo juluensis. 5 different versions of humanity, 5 different paths evolution tried, all of them real, all of them extraordinary, all of them gone. Which leaves one question science cannot stop asking. What else is hiding in our own history? Because December 2025 was not an ending, it was a door. And whatever is behind it has been there the whole time. All this time, we have been asking the wrong question, not where they went, but what kind of species does that make us, that we are the only ones left? Every other version of humanity, gone. Bigger brains, different paths, other answers, all of them ended. And we are still here. That is either the greatest triumph in the history of life or the greatest crime. And we are the only ones left to tell the story. So I will ask you this: which version of humanity do you think came closest to becoming something greater? Comment below. Every answer gets a reply. And just when we thought the story was over, February 2026, 2 skulls found in China, 1.77 million years old, older than anything we expected, the oldest human fossils ever found in East Asia. And scientists still cannot agree what they are. That is the next secret. Subscribe to LightWill Global. New video every Friday. Because history doesn't hide the truth, it buries it.